What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Sergio Mendez, the CEO and founder of Influx Media.
The amount of times I've spoke to someone 40 odd, 50 odd, and I just think, all right, you've got a bit of money, but don't I know about it? Welcome back again to the Will Miles podcast. Hopefully you're used to it by now. Hopefully you're a regular viewer. Today we've got Sergio Mendez. Introduce yourself. Tell me what you do. Tell the viewers who you are.
What's up, guys? How you doing? I'm Sergio Mendez. I am the CEO and founder of Influx Media. We're a business development agency. We help business owners scale, grow, hire, run advertising and marketing for their business, basically just helping them get clients and expand and scale.
So how does it work? How did you start? What does it entail?
Yeah, so I started this business, Influx Media, in 2019. It was called Area Media at the time, right? And it started as a simple kind of drone photography agency where I would go up to real estate agents and I'd be like, hey, like, let me shoot a quick video for you. Let me shoot a quick tour around the house, and you'd pay me 200 bucks, right? To be there for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it was. Over time, you know, more clients came through. The videos were great, and people just started recognizing me as the kid that did really good videos for real estate. And yeah, ever since then, just more people came. People were asking for different things, and I'm the kind of guy where somebody tells me, "Hey, can you build a website?" And I don't know how to build a website. I'll say yes, I can, and then I'll figure out how to build a website for you. So that's what helped me a ton in the beginning. Just kind of people asking me, "Hey, can you do ads?" So I'd be like, well, yeah, and then figuring out how to do it for them.
So predominantly at the moment, then, like I said, I saw the video I saw was huge. What car were you in?
So that's a Corvette C8. That's one of
Yeah,
the new vets.
I thought it was a Corvette. You don't see many of them in the UK, to be honest. But yeah, I saw you driving along, pretty much living it in Florida. Is it that you're based?
Yeah, yeah, in Boca Raton.
So what is a normal day for you then? How does it all play out?
Dude, it's actually very, very funny because people think that the entrepreneur lifestyle is very glamorous and very glorified. My day to day is wake up, I might have some sort of coffee, some sort of breakfast, and then I spend most of my day on the computer to around like 4 or 5 p.m. Go hang out with my girlfriend. Usually, we'll go to church on Wednesdays, Sundays, go to the gym and just chill, go back, do a little bit of videos, do a little bit of like interviews with clients, stuff like that, and just relax, read a little bit. Now, whenever we do crazy stuff, which is like the 1% of the time, we have fun. Different things with the boys. Like for example, on Saturday, rented a big villa. About like 14 people are coming. It's huge, huge four-story mansion, renting a Sprinter van and going out there for 4 days. But I would say that's like 1% of the time. Everything else is really just like focused work and just like enjoying good time with good people.
Yeah, where are you from originally?
So I lived in Peru for many years. I lived in Peru for about 8 years. My dad's from Venezuela and my mom's Italian Peruvian.
Yeah, so that's a big mix then. Growing up, did you speak Spanish?
Yeah, Spanish is my first language, which is why I have a little bit of an accent in English.
Yeah. So in America, how old are you?
Take a guess. How old do you think I am?
22.
Okay, no, I'm 18.
Really? So you're younger than me then?
Yeah, you're what, 21?
19.
Okay. Damn, you look older than
Everyone says that, and I
expected.
used to have a full beard as well. I've shaved my beard, so I look a little bit younger now. But I used to get people thinking I was like late 20s, 30 or something. But so what's the feeling around what you do then? Because you're 18, you've got a lot more money than most people do. How are you received?
In what sense?
How do you feel like people are jealous of you? Do you feel like people think it's maybe it's your mum and dad's money, or you've not really put the work in?
Yeah, I mean, if you take a look at the comments in the video, that explains everything. And like that was just me posting something for fun, right? Like no intent in hurting people's feelings, but a lot of people were butthurt. And I just feel like it doesn't really bother me now. At the beginning, it did because I was more in the sense where like I wasn't successful enough for important people to care for me, and I wasn't kind of a degenerate at that point to where I would be like, oh, like look at all my money and like flashing people to get approval from people. So it was more like every time I would do something cool, people would be like, oh, like tease daddy's money or like just criticizing in some way. I was weird for doing business. Like I would go to events and like meet Ryan Serhant, meet Grant Cardone, Patrick Bet David. People would be like, "Oh, like why are you hanging out with those people? That's weird. Like those guys are cringe. They're Sigma males, right?" I was like, "Yeah, I mean, whatever." Now it's like my circle's very, very tight. My circle's very close. I have like five really, really good people around me, and that's really all there is to it. Of course, meeting new people, like we're connecting now and having a good conversation. But there's very little negativity because I don't allow that to enter my circle.
What's Patrick Bet David like?
Patrick Bet David is probably one of the most interesting people I've ever met. I met
How
him
was
when
it to,
sorry?
to meet him and speak to him? What was the conversation?
Yeah, so I met him when I was 16, and at that time I had just started getting a little bit of success. I go up to him, and this is crazy because at that point I've met a lot of different people that were some sort of influence in the space, and they could give me advice. So what I would ask is, what piece of advice do you have for me? Right, that was kind of my question. I would ask everybody. So I go up to him and I said, what piece of advice do you ask for me? The first thing I noticed that was different from everybody else, he asked me a question instead of instantly replying. So he asked me, "How old are you?" I told him. "What business are you in? How many employees do you have? How much revenue do you do? What's your biggest bottleneck?" And he found out what my actual problem was. When I go to people, let's say I went to Grant Cardone, "What piece of advice do you have?" "How old are you?" 16. "Great. Do this, do this, do this, do that." Patrick with David actually took the time to understand my problem, right? And have a quick conversation about it. And I told him, well, right now I'm making this amount of money. I have this amount of employees. What he told me was, I have no piece of advice to give to you because I was not in your position ever in my life. Like I did not go through what you're going right now, so I don't feel qualified to kind of tell you that an advice. So I'm actually excited to see what you have to tell me 10 years, 15 years, 20 years down the line. So that was really, really interesting because it shows that there's a thought process behind his interaction with people. And it took me a while to understand where he was coming from, but yeah, I think his thought process is very, very critical and really, I mean, I was really, really surprised by his answer because I was expecting the typical drop out of college or like, work for somebody else for 2 years and learn the skill set and then start doing sales, but it was a completely different answer.
Yeah, that's fair. You know what? I do. When I've spoke to people who've got a bit of money who are a lot older than me, you do get a lot of the time the kind of interrupt you and just speak to, and you're thinking, come on, mate, just you know what I mean. The amount of times I've spoke to someone 40 odd, 50 odd, and I just think, all right, you've got a bit of money, but don't I know about it? Do you know what I mean? And I think it is cool to have someone like that who'll just speak openly. Justin Waller as well. What was he like? I saw you got a picture of him. He seems an interesting kind of guy.
Yeah, so Justin was interesting because I approached Justin as a opportunity rather than an interaction. So what I try to do with a lot of people that are big, and Justin, we had people in common. Like a couple of my friends that live here in Florida are connected to him, and we were having an event. So me and my best friend, we do networking events here in Florida every once in a while. And how we met Justin was hilarious. So my mom sends me a picture with Justin all of the blue, right? I'm like, where are you right now? And she's like, mind you, we're like 40 minutes away. She's like, oh, I'm in Miami and I just met Justin Waller. I was like, cool, I'll be there in 40 minutes. So as we're going to a different event, we take a completely different route to go to Miami. We get there with the hopes of potentially finding him. So we walk around for like 20 minutes. We don't find them. We go to the restaurant where he was. As we're going, we were holding the flyers for the event, right? And me and him were like, we can't walk into this restaurant with the flyers because they're going to think we're soliciting. It's a very nice restaurant. So let's go to the back of the restaurant and leave the flyers somewhere where people are not going to steal them. So as we're walking to the back of the restaurant, we see a Lambo, a Rolls Royce parked, Justin Waller getting into his car, leaving, right? And at that time, I was like, damn, this is meant to be. Walk up to Justin, introduce ourselves, talk to him for a little bit. And I was like, hey, like we're having this event this event in the next couple of days. We would love for you to be part of it. Just talked about that a little bit. My friend has an AI company. They connected. So not so much an advice conversation, but more just going back and forth, getting to know each other. But that was really, really cool. Uh, Definitely what you would expect from what he says. Consistent, right? And very, very nice guy. Like he was very, very open to speak to us. and he took the time to actually sit there, listen to us, and go back and forth.
Yeah. No, he seems a great guy as well. Who else have you met out there in Miami? You must have met a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, I would say what's on my Instagram is probably 10% of the people I've met. I've met like a lot of UFC fighters. Um, I've met a lot of the business guys. So I'm trying to think. A bunch of like middle influencers, like 500 to a mil, 2 mil, like just kind of your typical Instagram guy. The Wolf of Wall Street, Danny Porish.
I saw that. Yeah, that's cool. How
Yeah.
did that come about?
So he was actually a client of mine for a good amount of time. He was so I do biz development for home improvement businesses. And one of my clients actually hired him to be a consultant for the business. And as we were doing business with the main company, I was getting a lot of time with Danny because he was a consultant for that business. So we'd spend a good amount of time every week. And then he was like, "Hey, like I want to build a sales course, right? Like I want to teach people how to do sales." We started working on it for a good amount of time. I have like probably 20 hours of content with Danny, just teaching sales. But then he talked to his kids, he talked to his wife, and the lawyers were like, "Well, we rather not do anything. We rather not put your name out there just because of the implications of Stratton Oakmont. Like, if you don't know, like that was actually real, and there's a lot of legal things that happen from that. So he was actually kind of like, hey, like let's just put this off to the side. I don't want to get in more trouble than I already have.
Yeah, yeah. No, I've watched that film. Obviously, likable. I think everyone's watched that film, to be honest. And it's mad. It shows, even though obviously they've exaggerated certain things and a lot of it isn't real. There is that element of people. You know, you think it's a legitimate business, which it is, but the people running these things a lot of the time are just normal people. They're not robotic, business minded, crazy kind of people. Have you found that?
Yeah, I mean, even if you look at the Danny, for example, right, which we were very close for that a good amount of time, he went to jail for it, right? It's not like these business people are immune. They're like they still have to follow the law. They still have to do the same things you do. They still have to pay their taxes with the same loss as you, regardless of what people say. Yes, they do. They don't pay taxes because you don't take advantage of the tax laws. That's not their fault, right? And what I've noticed is that people that are in software, people that own software companies, are very robotical, are very obsessed with what they do, right? WAP, you know WAP, the platform WAP?
No.
So WAP is a platform that it's kind of like school, and they're looking to make it huge, $1 billion business plus. They do about, I believe, like a billion a year in payment processing. The founder, he's probably the most obsessed person I've ever met. Like he reminds me of Mark Zuckerberg when he was younger, right? That's what I've noticed in software and businesses that are looking to really, really do huge. Like I'm talking billion-dollar businesses, businesses that are looking to be part of S&P 500, people that are actually have that as a mission, but they don't care about the money so much. People that are running businesses that are very successful, construction businesses, 20, $30 million a year, which, it might sound like a lot. In construction, that's kind of like a mid-high tier business. It's not even kind of what the top is. Those people are driven by money. So as soon as they find the money that makes them comfortable, they stop working, they lay back, they relax. So that's what I've seen. It's not so it's different in a lot of different circumstances, but then a lot of people that I've met that are very, very successful are very calm. They're not so much kind of like, oh, like you're gonna wake up at 5 in the morning, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do a cold plunge, do a sauna and stuff like that.
Yeah. So for you, for the future, where do you want it to go? Do you want to absolutely catapult yourself up and be at the highest absolute level, or are you just looking for a lot of success but nothing crazy?
Yes, that's a great question. With the marketing agency and kind of like that consulting biz development play that I'm doing right now with Influx Media, I feel like it's gotten to a cap where for it to grow, I would have to put in a lot of effort, right? And it's gotten to the point where I'm very happy where it is, and it's not fulfilling me to where it used to because all the goals in the company have been achieved. Like everything that comes after that is just making more revenue, right? Like I've worked with the people I've wanted to work with my whole entire life. I've done the different business models I've wanted to done. I've gained the revenue goals I've wanted to gain. And I just started a software company called PickPup. So that's what my next plan is. build a software company, which is a B2C and a B2B business, and make that my play where it's like, hey, here's what's impactful. Here's where my next Uber, my next Instagram meta play, where it's like, this is something that I want to grow into a, billion-dollar user base software company.
So are you driven by purely by the money, or do you like the attention on Instagram and the kind of fame side of things?
No, so what's hilarious is that for the software company, my main motive is just get as many users as possible, regardless of how much money we're gonna make. So I was talking to my CTO the other day, and we're always going back and forth because he obviously wants to make money. And I'm like, dude, I would burn every single penny that this business gets for it to get more users, right? My main goal with this is just being able to have an impact, being able to help as many people as possible because this software does have a lot of utility in people's lives. And have that thing where when people are talking, they're like, oh, like, that kid that left high school last year, he didn't graduate. He was he's the founder of a S&P 500 company. And I think that's really, really cool. Where it's like, yeah, like the business is achieving more than you, and like the business becomes bigger than you at that point.
How did your mum react? How did your family react when you left high school or wherever you were and just went off doing this, but then started making a lot of money?
Yeah, so I got kicked out of my house almost maybe
Uh,
like two weeks after. I lived in a couple different places. I lived in West Palm Beach, I lived in Fort Lauderdale, and then I lived in Panama for a while. And we had a family vacation planned before I got kicked out, before I left school. So at that point, it was a matter of like me leaving home for like 3 or 4 months for me and my mom to start talking again and have a good relationship. We went on that family trip. Everything was great. And then the problem was fixed, right? It
and were
was
you
more.
making money at the time on that family trip, or was that before the money had really took off?
No, no, no. That family trip was actually great. I was very stressed because uh, it was when so my business has been growing exponentially every month. Like we're talking 30-40% per month, which is crazy over the last 2 years. Now this last 6 months has slowed down a little bit more. Uh, but at that time, it was like I was having calls all day, I was having to answer texts all day. And at that point, it was like, hey, like you need to stop making money for my mom. It's like you need to be able to like now relax and like enjoy the trip. So it was an interesting shift from being like, oh, like you have to do this, and now it's like focus on the trip.
So, what's the feeling in America like at the moment? Obviously, there's been a lot going on in the US. What's your opinion on it? How do you think it's all going? Where do you think the most powerful country in the world is going to?
Dude, that's a great question. There's definitely here's what I think. We are in a period of reorganization, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, this last 4 years haven't been the best, but if we look at crime rate, I mean, bro, crypto, the stock market is pumping, has been pumping for the last 2 years. So, in a matter of financially, we're good. Morally, it's a very complicated position because they're trying to push an agenda that is not helping people at all, and it's making us fall in a matter of like eventually people are not going to have a real opinion, and everything's going to be based on what they hear from the media, what they hear from the government. I'm concerned about what's going to happen in the next 8 years rather than the next 4 years. Like we're in a maintenance period where we're kind of taking the standard from here to here, right? And potentially just keeping it at that level where nothing crazy is going to happen, right? Things are going to improve slowly. But if another bad government comes 4 years down the line, then now we're going to be in a position where it's going to be very, very difficult to get out of it.
Are a lot of people worried? Do you think?
Eh, I'm not particularly worried because there's so many places to go. But I think people should be more worried about what's going to happen to their jobs in terms of AI, what's going to happen to their studies. Like a lot of people are wasting time right now thinking about that. It's like, oh, what's going to happen to the government? What's going to happen to the United States? It's like, bro, you're about to have no job in 4 years. Like, what are you talking about? You
Yeah,
know what I
AI
mean?
seems to be moving fast. To be honest, I'm not mega well up on it, but obviously I see the amount of AI content and things that are going on. What do you reckon with AI? What do you actually think? Do you think it's going to get to a point where it can overtake what humans can do?
It already is. If we look at sales jobs, a lot of customer service and sales positions are getting taken over by AI. We look at things like vacuums, like look at the Roomba. That's not an AI, but now it cleans your floor. I don't know if you guys have that in the UK. I don't know if that's super popular, but here you don't even have to vacuum your floors anymore. But and
Yeah,
just
I'm sure there is a few in the UK. I've not heard of it. Is that a common thing in America?
very, very common. It's a little vacuum, little circle that you put on the floor and it just goes around your house, vacuum it. Maps out the house, knows every corner, just vacuums it.
It's mad. Yeah, so that's one job already gone, isn't it? If you're a cleaner, you're already thinking, that could be the end of the road for certain jobs. Do you think it could genuinely be a point where the world could run off AI? Because that seems even in the 21st century, that seems a bit far fetched. It'll always that needs to have someone controlling it. Do you not think?
Yeah, in terms of time, it's difficult to tell because it's exponential, right? Like it doesn't move like this. It kind of moves like this. You know what I mean? Because when something happens, then it'll go like this, and then it'll exponentially grow, and then it'll flat out, and then it'll exponentially grow. So it's difficult to kind of time it. But if you really think about how everything works, is you pay for time, right? The reason your sunglasses cost money is because somebody had to go out, they had to get the materials to fabricate it, they had to put it together in a factory, and they had to pay labor for it, right? If you look at why oil is expensive, is because they had to have somebody go, the machine build the material for the oil, have somebody run the machine, they had to take it out. There's going to be a point where AI is going to be doing all of those tasks. And if you wanted to get, let's say, gold, right? Because the factories are already fabricated, right? They say, hey, I want a golden bracelet. All you have to do is just tell your AI, go mine something. They'll go grab a pickaxe, they'll start mining, they'll find gold, just like Minecraft, you know? They'll go find the gold, they'll go grab the gold, they'll go to a processing plant. The processing plant is going to be run by AI. So they can just grab the gold, process it by AI. It's going to be run by the fuel that's being generated by the AIs that don't have to get paid for doing the work. And then you're going to be able to get goods at like a fraction of the cost you do now.
Yeah. So going back to the original video I saw that actually made me DM you, that Corvette. Are you a big car guy? Because there's not many Corvettes in the UK. I do like them, but are you into your cars a lot?
Dude, I love cars. Very, 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 very big car guy ever since I was a little kid.
Yeah. And how fast is that Corvette? Is that because the insurance? How much is the insurance on that? That must be astronomical.
So I'll tell you something. That Corvette is part of a partnership I have with a rental car business. So it's one of my clients' cars. The insurance on it, I believe it's $250 a month. I went to get a quote on it for myself as a person, as an individual. It's $750 a month. That's because I'm 18 and there's no company. You could get it lower, like if you get an LLC. I don't know how the structure works in the UK, but if you put it under a company name, you'll probably be paying like $300 a month. If you're on a personal insurance, you're young, probably like 700 to 800 a month.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's a lot different in the UK. It's just through the roof. I mean, my first year I had on my car, it weren't a fast car at all. Like 3 grand, over £3,000, which is
Uh, Per month?
not per year, but
Okay,
that's on something like not fast at all. Like if
right.
I don't think I could get insured on a Mustang or a Corvette or anything like that. It's just honestly, it's mad. But would you get say you as you progress, are you gonna try and buy more cars, Lamborghini and McLaren, that kind of thing, or are you happy with your current kind of thing?
Yo, so right now, I don't really like having liabilities
Yeah,
in terms of assets that don't really help me make money. So what I'm doing now is I'm buying cars and I'm putting them under the rental car so that they can make me money. And then
yeah,
wherever I have the time to do, I just, hey, like the car's free. Like tomorrow I'm gonna go pick up a Lamborghini Urus, use it for 24 hours, have fun with it, and then bring it back and not have to deal with the car at all. Just have it for a day, have fun with it, and then bring it back. So that's kind of what I'm looking to do now is just get a couple rental cars, a couple Corvettes, maybe one Lambo, a Urus, have them pay for themselves. And
Yeah,
whenever I feel like driving something fun, just
can
call
do.
up
Yeah.
the guy that's managing it. It's like, yo, let me go pick it up, and be like, yeah, it's not rented. You could scoop it.
How difficult is that business? Do you not have problems with people crashing them and stuff like that?
You do. Very good when somebody crashes it. Why? Because you get paid out by insurance, and if you have a good lawyer, you can make a lot of money just from that.
And is that common?
Relatively common, yes.
Yeah, because people, it's not being funny. I see people who've rented cars in where I'm from. They're just driving around. I think you're brave going into that kind of thing. It's because just because of you don't know who's getting behind the wheel, do you? You know what I mean? If you're driving it,
Yeah, but like,
you're not
yeah.
gonna, you can be sensible. But once you're giving the keys over to someone else who's never driven one in the past, it gets mad. But is that something do you wanna branch out into? Obviously, you've got your primary business, you've got that kind of thing. Do you want to branch out into lots of different things?
Yeah, so money at the end of the day, it's a tool, right? And money gets people moving. Like if you put money on the table, you have a lot of people do things for you. So like right now, I have a partnership in a pool cleaning business. That's all being moved by skill sets and people, right? I'm paying people to manage that business and the marketing side for that business. I don't have to do much on it. The rental car business, put 10, $15,000 down for the car, give it to the company manager. Don't even have to think about it. I don't even know the car exists at that point. And just stuff like that, where it's like now obviously I'm working in a software company, but a lot of the money that comes to me, I don't have anything I have barely any expenses, right? So that's why I'm looking to just do investments where I can just put the money there and then have it be reproduced and build stuff by itself.
So the rental cars, are you paying them off? Are they on finance effectively, and you're just paying them off with the money you're getting in from people hiring them?
Yes, and the reason we do that is because let's say you have $100,000 cash to buy a car, right? If you were to just buy the car up front, right, then you're losing out on having 10 different cars with the same 100 grand. Like if you just grab 100 grand, 10K in one car, 10K, 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 now you have 10 cars producing money instead of just one.
And how much profit are you making after you've paid off your initial finance agreement? How much are you making on top of that from people from the money you're bringing in from getting hired?
Yeah, how much does a supercar rent for in the UK per day?
I'd imagine. I don't know actually. Probably I'd say now probably $1,000 a day or something. I'd imagine.
Okay. So in the US, something like a Lamborghini Huracan, which is kind of like your base model Lamborghini, your monthly payments are going to be around 3,500 bucks. The daily rental, anywhere between 900 to 1,500. You're all in for the car at about 4,200 monthly payments all in. If you rent the car 10 days out of the month, you're making anywhere between 10,000 or 9,000 and 15,000. You take out the 4,000. That's kind of what your profit margin looks like on a very bad month.
Yeah.
Those kind of cars here in Miami, especially, they'll be rented out 21 days out of the month. So a car like a Huracan can produce you like 12,000 a month. A Lamborghini Urus, the same thing, 15,000, 20,000 a month around like a really, really good month, you make 20,000. Corvette, that one rents between $350 a day and 500. So at the end of the month, you're looking at anywhere between 6,000 to $7,000 a month profit with
Yeah.
the C8.
I mean that's crazy figures, isn't it?
I mean, dude, it's great. That's why it's the investment route I'm taking instead of real estate
Yeah.
because there's no other return where you can invest 1,500 a month and get 6 grand back.
Yeah, and it's something as well. You don't need a ridiculous amount of money. I mean, if you looked at someone with a company who's got a Huracan, 765 LT, Urus, Cullen, all these cars, you'd think, whoa, they must, but it doesn't take as much money as you'd think. If you do it the way you do it and it's on finance and you're putting down 10, 15K deposits on them, it's not crazy numbers to actually get started on it. Do you know what I mean?
Not at all, not at all.
But I think in the UK, obviously where are you in Miami or?
I'm 40 minutes away from Miami.
Yeah, so you're in Florida. I think there's a lot more demand for hiring drop top yellow Lambos. I mean, where I'm from, it's going to be like you put the roof down for 2 minutes and it starts raining. You know what I mean? It's dark all the time. It's one of them. So I think it obviously it does work in the UK, but you could only do it in the big cities. I think London, Manchester, which isn't too far away from me. But you've given me an idea. Actually, I actually might look into it. It's just the insurance is that high. It's
Yeah.
mental. How much do you pay
Yeah.
for insurance? You must pay. Do you pay an insurance premium just for the like an overall company insurance for all of the cars?
No, so I don't manage that part of the business at all. What it is when you get a vehicle, you put it under a company name or your name. When you rent it out to people, you have them put the car under their company name or
Yeah,
under their insurance. So you call the insurance and say, hey, Mr. John is renting my car. Please make sure he's insured. Write it down. He's going to be driving this type of car for the next 2 days. If anything happens, it's on you guys. Confirm? Yes, confirm. We agree. Perfect. Now the car, you can have it. If anything happens, your insurance will take care of it. That's how you do it.
yeah. And so, do they charge? Obviously, they must charge the guy who's renting it a bit more on top of on top of the premium they've done for them.
Yeah, so here in the US, a lot of the rental car businesses, or I'm sorry, a lot of the insurance companies have that policy implemented into their base rates. So if you're paying, let's say, $300 a month for your car insurance, and you have a lot of the insurances, they will have a comprehensive rental insurance added to that policy regardless.
Yeah. See, I've never seen that in the UK. I just think it's so much different. It must be just
Yeah.
so different. It must be a lot more common for people to rent cars. But like I said before, it's sunny where you are. You know what I mean? Over here, no one's renting Lambos over. You get people doing it, obviously, but not in. It's more of a holiday destination where you are.
Yeah, I mean, Will, if you think about it, I was in London in August. What's gonna rent out there really, really well is your Rolls-Royce Cullinan, your Phantoms, your
Yeah,
S-Class, your S550, Mercedes, G-Wagons, big body cars for people that are gonna be chauffeured or they just wanna, drive it to a nice little date with their wife, because I'm not sure, but what I noticed here, the cars are very small. A lot of people don't have parking. So, if they're trying to go somewhere nice for dinner, they might rent a Rolls Royce for a day.
yeah. How did you find London?
I liked it. It was actually really cool. People told me I was gonna get robbed. As soon as I got there, I noticed not so much. I didn't notice any danger. Went to Harrods, visited the London Eye, took the red bus, went to the Buckingham Palace. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, it is. It's a cool place. It is getting dangerous, but like you said, it's not as dangerous as they make out. I think there's just a lot of spontaneous kind of attacks that go on. You know what I mean? You see people on mopeds and like you know what I mean, all in balaclavas and stuff, and they come up and rob it. But it's not. I don't think it's as dangerous as people make out. In the outskirts, definitely, but
Yeah,
not.
I agree. I mean, if you're around Buckingham, if you're around the London Eye, first of all, there's an insane amount of security everywhere. And, it's not like you walking around, you feel unsafe. You feel
No.
actually very, very safe. And as long as you're not walking around with a gold chain, just holding it out like this, I think you're gonna be fine.
Yeah, no, it should be. It's you saw. I saw you went to Paris as well. How did you find the French capital?
Very nice. Very nice. That Paris, I went to Windsor. And I also went to a little town in Paris, or in France. Both very, very nice. The city itself, fantastic. I love Europe. Last year I went to a bunch of places in Europe, and compared to the US, the lifestyle or like the potential of lifestyle is great, but it just seems so complicated to live there just because of all the laws and rules and regulations there are.
Yeah, in what way do you think?
Like I was driving with my friend in Amsterdam, and he's like driving 80 kilometers an hour, and he can't go 82 because they're tracking how fast he's going from one side of the road to the end of the road. And
Yeah,
he's
yeah, yeah.
like,
Average speed, yeah. So is it
yeah,
none of
and
that in
then
America? Is it a lot more lenient?
America is extremely lenient.
So how could you get caught for speeding in America?
There's gonna be a cop. If there's no cops, you can speed as much as you want.
No cameras or anything.
No, very little cameras.
I know. Well, over here it's mental. There's cameras everywhere. There's cameras on the traffic lights to make sure you don't go through on red. There's what else is there? People, the actual police at the side of the road with like the machines that get you. There's vans now that drive around with cameras on them. So if you go past that van, they're not even looking. They just drive around in this van and it gets you like that. It's mad.
No, they do have the cops here with a gun. I actually just got a ticket like on Friday, but
What
if
do you
you
do?
if
Is it more? Do you just pay off the? Do you just pay it off in America?
no, so how does it work in the UK?
So you get points on your license. So you'll
Yeah,
get
you
if you
do
get to
here.
12 points, you're banned.
Yeah, they do that here too, but what I do is I send it over to a lawyer. The lawyer is cheaper than the ticket, and they'll send it to court if the police has no proof that you were speeding, which 99% of the time they can't prove that you were, dismissed.
Fair
So
enough.
nothing happens.
That's compared to England. That's pretty mental, to be honest. But what would you say then to you 2 years ago, 16, trying to make it? Everyone's telling you, or a lot of people are telling you that it ain't going to work. What would you say now?
So that's a great question. I would tell my 16-year-old self, and I think the number one kind of piece of advice would be say no more often, like actually prioritize things better, understand that your time is valuable, and stick to one thing, right? Don't take so many opportunities at once. Um, Understand that every opportunity has an opportunity cost to it, and to just, kind of do good work. And if somebody's, prioritize a customer, um, under over deliver, under promise, and yeah, those are really the main things.
Appreciate it, mate. It's been a great episode, and we'll do it again at some point if you're up for it. It's been great to chat.
Of course, Will. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
Thanks a lot.